Special thanks to Patreon supporter Brock Cherry for making this video possible.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared2 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II vehicle tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Landwasserschlepper II. The Landwasserschlepper LWS was a unarmed amphibious tractor produced in Germany during World War II. The version we have in front of us is the second model. You may remember the first model that I did do a tutorial on a little while back on the channel, but this here was kind of the later war model that was introduced in around 1944. It was kind of a more simplified design built on the Panzer IV chassis, and basically was kind of just more of a tradition, or kind of just a giant box really, with a kind of small kind of crew compartment that pops up in the front, as well as 4 collapsible smokestacks and kind of a flat backing to it. So quite a big change compared to that of the original Landwasserschlepper. Preferably, I think the first one looks better, just in terms of its overall look and all that stuff. It basically looks like a boat with tracks. This here is just kind of a brick with tracks, to say the very least. But a cool build and a fun one to add into our German ground vehicle section and all that fun stuff. Now before I go ahead and jump into the tutorial, I do want to go ahead and give a big thanks to Patreon supporter Brock Cherry for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more than you already do, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can go and put a small amount to check out every month, and in doing so earn a vehicle request to your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel and is really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link is down in the video description. With that though, let's go ahead and dive into an in-depth look at the Landwasserschlepper. So, going ahead and taking a look at it here, we have basically the front of it, nothing too fancy, just a really kind of straight, angled front there. We have the front kind of compartments here for both the driver, and I imagine maybe the vehicle commander, or kind of a co-driver, one of the two. Some lights on the front, some mirrors. We also have a larger spotlight up on top. We then have the kind of back here, which has the exhaust. So it has 4 of these exhausts here on the back. And we also have this other, bit of exhaust or cooling or something of that sort there on the back. We have some various little hatches here up on top, nothing too crazy. We then have these exhausts here, so quite a bit of exhaust here on this vehicle. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And then we have the back here of the vehicle, which has this little chain. Not exactly 100% sure what it's for. I do know that the original Landwasserschlepper was able to tow mines and stuff like that, for laying mines, so it could be something of that sort. But it was very apparent on this version, so I went ahead and included it there. And yeah, that's pretty much the build. It's a pretty simplistic, straightforward build. Should be a pretty easy one to go ahead and build. But yeah, a pretty cool vehicle and kind of a unique one to add into our Germany World War II line. Alright guys, so go ahead and move into our first layer here. We'll be going ahead and start with layer 1. Now for our first layer here, layer 1, we want to go ahead and begin with a place down an air brick slab and then an air brick top slab like so. A few things I do want to go ahead and mention is if you do want to build this in the water, which obviously this is a amphibious vehicle, so you are definitely more than welcome to put in the water, you will want to make sure that basically we are this far below the surface. So let's say our surface here is this row of 3 of blue concrete, we have another block below this, and then that's where we're going to be starting our first layer here. So that's kind of just there for reference if you do again want to build this in the water, kind of floating or performing, its amphibious duties. So just keep that in mind going forward for the build. Now at this point, depending on whether you're building this in the water, if you're building on land, if you're building on land, we're just going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 nether brick full blocks, basically going in the ground layer like so, and that will kind of form our bottom layer of our track. Now if you are building this in the water, I would recommend basically putting a row of trapdoors basically on that level. So you have a row of dark oak with trapdoors going all the way across, and that will form the bottom of the tracks if this is in a amphibious situation or in water. Once that's done though, we're going to go ahead and take our grindstones, and we just want to place down 2 grindstones like this together. If you are on a version that does not allow grindstones to be put together, you can go ahead and very simply just line your grindstones up like that. That will also work. It's not that big deal, whichever way or whatever method works for you. But we're going to go ahead and do basically 4 of these sets of 2. And that right there is going to complete our kind of road wheel layout. We're going to go ahead and just place down an air brick upside down stair here on the back. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and take our stone top slabs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 top slabs over. And go into this air brick slab here, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 4 also over. We'll then fill in the space here between these stone top slabs. Just like this. And this here will basically fill in the base here of the vehicle. We're going to go ahead and then basically do the same thing that we did over on the right side, just over here to this side. Just like that. And again, we're going to place our grindstones here, coming off each other, and exactly what you did on the other side. So just like that. Then on the back, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 birchwood fence gates, coming off those 2 middle stone top slabs, and we're going to go ahead and then open these fence gates to the sides. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 skeleton skulls, back to back, like so, after those fence gates. Once that's all done right there, that's going to wrap up everything we have there for this layer. In addition here, if you are on Java, we can go ahead and kind of do a little bit of extra work here. And really, it could be on any version. It's really not subjective to one version or the other. But we can actually go ahead and place down some item frames on the sides here of the grindstones for the wheels. And we can place down some stone blocks in those item frames like that for the tracks. Now, again, it's not something that needs to be done, but if you have the item frames, you might as well go ahead and do so. And again, kind of adds a nice detail. Obviously, if you are placing this on water, you're probably going to want to avoid that because these probably will not sit well at all in the water. But yeah, that right there is going to include everything we have for layer 1. Again, here's an overview of what it looks like from a top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and move on to our next layer, layer number 2. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to get started with here, we're going to place down a nether brick stair on top of these 2 nether brick top slabs, as well as a row of 4 of stone blocks across between those stairs. After that is done, we're going to take our stone top slabs. We're going to place down a row of 6 across here in the front, and then an item frame coming off the 2 inner stone slabs like that. We're also going to place down a tripwire hook in the item frame, and we're going to rotate that so it faces downwards like so. Continuing on back, we're going to go and take our stone blocks. We're going to place down a row of 3 of stone blocks across this space here, and we're going to go and follow this up with a light gray shulker box on its side like that. We're also going to go ahead and then place down an item frame in the shulker box, as well as a cobweb in the item frames as well. If you're on Java, we can go ahead and also place down a stone button on the side of the shulker box as well. Just a side note, that is if you are on a different version, such as Bedrock or Pocket Edition, you'll not be able to place down an item frame and a button or sign in the same block space as a item frame, so you will have to go ahead and basically just place down the item frame, and you will not be able to place down the button as a little bit of extra detail. So just keep that in mind going forward if you are curious and wondering why you're not able to place them. We're going to go ahead and take our stone blocks. We're going to place down another row of 4 going across. So we have 1, then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of these stone blocks, or 9 of these rows of 4 going across. After that is done, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair to both sides. In the middle space here, we're going to go ahead and place down a acacia wood fence gate. So we have 1 here, and then we're going to open these toward each other. So like that. And then the item frames coming off those fence gates like that. And we're just going to go ahead and place down some cobwebs in them like that for the propeller here on the back. Now with that done, we're going to take our nether brick slabs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 top slabs, and then 1 and 2 nether brick slabs. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick slab. And we're going to go and do the same thing over here. So just like that. After we have that all done, we want to go ahead and then grab our item frame. We're going to place down an item frame here, a stone block in the item frame. Then we're going to skip another space, item frame, stone block, item frame, stone block. Again, skip a space, item frame, stone block. And then an item frame on the side of the stone brick slab with a cobweb in it. And we're going to go do the same thing over here on this side. So again, just kind of skipping every other block with our item frames in stone. We then want to go and take a dark oak sign, and we're going to place it down on the side here of these nether brick slabs as well, again for Java players. And same thing over here. Just like that. After that is all done, that right there is going to basically finish off what we have for, yeah, basically everything we have there for that. And yeah, that's going to conclude everything for layer 2. Taking a look at it from above, this is what we should have from top-down view. With that though, let's go ahead and move on. Actually, real quick, almost forgot, we do have these glass panes. They're going to come off this nether brick slab here, and they're going to come off of this space here. So we won't place a sign in this space, however we will place down the glass pane. Just a side note there is that glass pane will cause the item frame to break on other versions other than Java, so you'll have to probably bypass having that item frame there, but it is not a huge deal. Anyways though, that is going to conclude everything we have there. Make sure again those glass panes are transferred over to both sides properly, and we'll be moving on to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. For this layer, we're going to start off by taking our stone blocks, and we're going to place down a row of row 6 going all the way across with a polished black stone button on both ends. We're going to go then take our stone stairs, and we're going to place down 1, 2, and 1, 2. Stone stairs on both sides, and then in the very middle, we're going to place down 2 stone top slabs like that for the front here. With that all finished, we're going to go ahead and then take our stone blocks. We're going to place down our row 6 going all the way across. We have 1, then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 rows of 6 going all the way across. So it should end on top of those stone stairs, or basically this final kind of row there from the previous layer. And after we have that all done there, we're going to go ahead and go to the side here of this stone block, and we're going to place down a chain that's going to be going down downwards like that. If you're on Java, we're going to place down another chain that kind of goes down in front of this item frame. If you are not on Java, I would recommend not placing this chain right here and just going ahead and have that one up there on the top, so you can keep both those item frames intact. Actually, my bad. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. It's actually going to be a row of 6 of stone upside down stairs, and then we're going to place down the chain. So we're going to go ahead and go this one stair that's off to the side here, like so, and we're going to go ahead and just place down both chains that go down like that. So my apologies on that. I got a little ahead of myself with the chain there, but it should look like that on both sides there. Then just going up from the glass panes here, we're just going to place down one more light gray stainless pane going up on both sides like that to go ahead and wrap that up there. Anyways, that right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer number 3, and with that we'll move on to layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to go and take our stone, and we're going to place down a row of 6 of stone going all the way across here. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 6 also coming off the front like that. Once we have that all done, we're going to take our stone, and we're going to place down another row of 6 going back. On both sides of this row, we are going to place down a polished black stone button. We then want to go ahead and place down another row of 6 going all the way across. And then at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some stone brick and some polished andesite. We're going to place down a stone brick block right here to both sides, followed by polished andesite. We then want to place down a row of 4 of stone brick full blocks across. We'll fill the middle space in with stone and also the sides. Then we're going to go ahead and place down another set of 1, 2, and 3 stone brick blocks back on both sides, and then 1, 2 across the middle. Again, we'll fill the inside in here with stone and the sides here as well. We're going to go ahead and take our stone brick blocks. We're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, and 3, followed by 4 and 5 stone brick full blocks. So same thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go and fill in 2 spaces there in the middle. We'll then take our stone blocks, and we're just going to go ahead and fill this in like so to go ahead and create the middle there. And we're going to go ahead and take our stone blocks. We'll place down a row on the side here, another row on this side, and then a row of 6 all the way across the back here, like so. With that all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull on these stone blocks here. So on both sides there, right up from those glass panes. And then on the very back, above where the chain is, we're going to place down a grindstone, and then to the sides of that, we're going to go and grab some light gray stainless panes. We're going to place down 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 over here to this side. We'll then go ahead and grab ourselves an item frame, as well as a light gray bed, and we're going to place down an item frame here for a light gray bed in the item frame, and again, for Java players, we'll place a birchwood sign on the back there as well. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude everything we have there for layer 4. And with that, we'll probably actually just move into our last final layers to go ahead and wrap up the build. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers. Alright guys, moving into our final layers here, we have layers 5 through 8. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a row of gray carpet across the front here. We then want to place down a stone block like this on both sides, and then in between those stone blocks, we're going to place down some likely shulker boxes like that. We then want to place down an item frame on those 2 stone blocks, and then in those item frames, we're going to place down a black bed, and we're going to go ahead and rotate this sideways like so, along with a birchwood sign like that. We're also going to place down an iron frame on the side here, a black bed again rotated sideways for the pillow facing toward the front, and we're going to place down a birchwood sign, again only if you are on Java. So like that. We're going to go ahead and then place down an item frame that's going to be coming off this to both sides, and then in that item frame we're going to place down a snowball. Again, for Java players, we're also going to go ahead and place down a end rod here, and then a flower pot. Same thing over here. With that done, on top here, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 iron trapdoors and then an end rod on top of this block right here. We also want to go ahead and grab a stone brick wall, and we're going to go ahead and go back from this shulker box kind of at an angle, place a stone brick wall and then an item frame, and then in that item frame, we're going to place down a white stained glass pane, just like that. We then want to go ahead and grab a stone slab. We're going to place down a stone slab here, then move over here on this side, and we're going to go then place down a light gray shulker box to both sides like so. In the very middle space, we're going to go ahead and grab our polished deep slate tiles. We're going to place down a polished deep slate tile block here, and then a stair like that to the side, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 item frames on the side there of that block, as well as iron bars in the item frames like that. After that is all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a wither skeleton skull on both sides there, and then a polished black stone wall up, and then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on top of those walls. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some rails, and we're going to place down a row of, or basically a circle here of 4 rails. We'll then also take our iron bars, and we're just going to go ahead and go up from this spot right here, 1, 2, and 3 iron bars up like that for the radio antenna. Now continuing on back, we're going to go ahead and grab our polished andesite stairs, and we want to go ahead and place down a stair like this, and we're going to go ahead and kind of just wrap these stairs around to form kind of this circular type shape. Going ahead and going back from the 2 middle stairs, we're going to place down 2 end rods back, as well as a wither skeleton skull coming off the side there of the end rods to the sides. We'll also grab ourselves some copper and some stone brick slabs. We'll place down a cut copper slab. You may want to actually use the wax kind so it doesn't corrode over time. And then we're going to go ahead and place down our acacia wood signs on both sides of the copper blocks. We're also going to place down a wither skeleton skull that's going to go back from those slabs. After that is done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone slab here, and then a light gray shulker box, as well as a stone slab here, and a narrow shulker box over here on the other side. We want to go ahead and then take our redstone repeaters, and we're going to place down a redstone repeater here, separate the notches apart from each other, and we're also going to do the same thing up here. Right after that stone slab, we're going to separate these notches. After that, we want to go ahead and then place down a wither skeleton skull, coming off these shulker boxes, a polished black stone wall up, and then a wither skeleton skull on top of those walls. We are going to go ahead and also take our stone brick slabs, and we're going to place down a row of 5. They're going to go across here. We're going to go ahead and grab an item frame and a black bed, as well as a dark oak wood sign. We're going to place down an item frame, black bed, rotated sideways, and a dark oak wood sign, or actually, my bad, not dark oak wood, but a birchwood sign on the side here like so, and same thing on the other end. So just like that. And the very last thing for us to do here is kind of this, I guess, kind of rails on the side here, which are more like little posts with some rope. But we're going to place down an end rod here, and then we're going to place down 2 chains going back from it, 1, 2, then 2 end rods, then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 chains, and then we're going to place down our 2 end rods, again 1, 2 chains, and then our 2 end rods. And we're going to go and just do the same thing over here as well. So just like this, all the way up, and it'll connect up here to the front. And once we have that all done right there, that's going to wrap up what we have there for layers 5 through 8, and that right there is going to complete my tutorial here for the Landwasserschlepper II. Overall, really cool build. It's very unique. I'm kind of actually really surprised to see it kind of go to such a downgrade compared to the original Landwasserschlepper, which if you haven't seen that tutorial, I definitely recommend you check it out. It's definitely a lot cooler of a build, I think, compared to this, but it is still a pretty cool vehicle in kind of the early stages and stuff like that of amphibious warfare and these amphibious track type vehicles. So hopefully you guys do enjoy and are able to make good use of it. If you do end up using this build, I do ask you guys to get proper credit for it. This been from a link to my channel or this video, or even just a sign on the build if you do end up using your worlds. Do please give me credit for it because it helps my channel grow and continues to keep me inspired to keep on posting this type of content. Again, a big special thanks to Patreon supporter Brock Cherry for making this tutorial possible. As always, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett214, and I'll see you guys next time.